Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Sunday, December 15th, 2019. My name is Rich, and joining me to help cover Barbados Ninja Throwdown is Bijan. How you making out?
I'm good, man. I'm just so in love with my dog. She's just the best dog, well-behaved dog on the planet, you know. So happy with her right now.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, no issues with the recording location or anything. It's just been a pleasant time all around since you got home.
Oh, yeah, totally. I totally didn't prepare in my bed rather than the office, and I'm totally not recording on my couch because my dog decided to poop right next to my computer for no reason whatsoever. She's fully trained. I don't know. Maybe she was upset that I was gone for 4 hours today. I don't know. But
I was going to say, it's a message. It's a message.
Yeah, she's got poop and pee pads. It's not like, you know,
Exactly.
She didn't know where to go.
So I'm saying that's deliberate. That's a signal to you that you're late with the podcast. That's what it is.
Yeah, for real, man.
So as I said, we are actually going to cover a show called Barbados Ninja Throwdown this episode. Thank you for the suggestion to Makeru the Blue Tiger on YouTube, who pointed it our way.
Yeah, it's something new. I mean, for everybody at home, you know, you can always watch the episode. I'm sure it's going to be in the show links. But ultimately, it's just like a fun little sideshow that really is reminiscent of the G4 era Ninja Warrior. Is that the kind of vibe you got, Rich?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely, editing, the style, the flow of the whole thing, it definitely felt that way to me from what I've seen. Just a quick rundown over here before we get into the actual episode. I did read up a little bit on the show. So in 2018, through a partnership with the National Ninja League, the top 4 competitors received an automatic qualification to the semifinals of the World Championships. And starting in 2019, the top 15 adults will qualify for the NNL World Championships in 2020. Like,
damn,
this
man.
is a legit show, legit competition.
Yeah. And, well, as you can imagine, I'm sure it was filmed in Barbados.
Yeah.
But, you know, the production was very interesting, and it featured quite a bit of Americans. Now, to be fair, we only watched one episode. It might just be like, you know, super American heavy episode, but it was pretty fun. Not to mention, I mean, well, we'll get into that when we get into the obstacles, but the obstacles were, it reminded me a lot of a backyard course, which was actually kind of refreshing. Yeah,
so we did cherry pick the episode a little bit. We picked episode 4, which had a lot of international competitors and the adults, because we looked at episode 1, it turned out to be kids, which I didn't realize at first. We were originally going to do episode 1. But check them out and watch them back. 23, 24 minutes. It's a real quick and easy watch. Pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Very good obstacles. So let's take a look at what we saw.
But let me clarify to everyone. We're not going to be covering this next week. Next week we're going to cover something else. Probably UNX now. Like, we should probably kind of just like see what's going on with them. And then the following week, everyone, get ready. It's our big end of the year special where Rich and I, you know, enjoy some drinks and look back at the year and have a lot of hijinks and shenanigans. So look forward to that in 2 weeks, guys.
Yeah. It's been kind of an ongoing tradition of ours to have a few adult beverages, a few too many adult beverages, and do some ninja quizzes and look back. It's fun.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, I was surprised. I didn't realize Brian Wilczewski is one of the commentators.
You know, it looked like him, but I didn't get the guy's name. It was curious that it was Brian Wilczewski, and from what I saw, he still has like the long hair, so dude's still growing it out, man.
Yeah, him with Wayne Simmons was the other commentator. They did a good job. It was, you know, not crazy over the top, you know, Matt and Akbar levels. It was just straight up kind of an NNL vibe to it, actually. Like, it really had the straight up commentary that you'd expect for it.
Yeah, very sport like heavy, like just play by play. But it was on point, really good. It wasn't annoying like a certain show in the UK. And yeah, it was good. It was fine.
Yeah. We got to see 11 runs too, which in 23 some minutes, that's tight.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't, for the way the production was, they weren't featuring vignettes or anything like that. It was kind of like up on this runner. Like the production was less of a show necessarily and more of like an NNL competition. But the way the graphics were presented and everything like that, it very much had a vibe reminiscent of G4 era or early 2000s, where you've got like these neon greens, and almost like tie-dye, like splashing colors. And I don't know, it was really like X Games G4 type like vibes. And it was kind of cool. It brought me back to my childhood.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I know some of our listeners are, long for those days of G4 and long for the days of early ANW. You'll want to check this out. I really think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the course itself, and I apologize. They've got names all over the place. I'm gonna do my best to describe them and kind of lay out the course a bit here. It starts with a long series of steps, which I really liked. It was 6 steps, picture like the quintuple steps, but then it goes into like a half pipe attack style. So the stairs after those 6 steps go in a little arc into a rope swing. Really interesting. I liked it.
Yeah, it was cool. Fast-paced obstacle where you can't really just stop and like pause the momentum or anything.
Following that, I'm calling them balance logs. They call them the tilting jack in the box for some reason, but it's like
That's a terrible name.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
Awful.
That's what I heard in the background. Right, nothing was very clearly labeled, but I could hear the announcers, and I'm pretty sure that's what they called it. Imagine 2 seesaws, teeter-totters, whatever you want to call them. You have to walk across them, but it's a giant log, basically.
Yeah. These are pretty commonplace in a lot of backyard gyms.
Yeah. Very good obstacle. Tripped up a number of people. Basic, but effective.
And difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Then into some monkey bars. They're pretty widely spaced, but essentially just monkey bars. Into what they kept calling the Garrison Spider Wall. As far as I can tell, it's just a spider wall. Maybe that's the name brand. I don't know. Maybe it's a sponsor.
Maybe. I mean, it's a spider wall.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's just like, I don't know why they're calling it a Garrison Spider Wall, but that's what it was labeled. And then the weirdest name for something of one of the cooler obstacles, probably the best obstacle on the show, the Jones River 2.0.
Jones River 2.0. Like, where do you even begin? I don't know. But really unique. Explain what it was.
All right, I'll try here. So imagine they have to take a bar up a sloped ramp with rungs on it like a ladder, right? So they can catch it on the rungs of the ladder as they climb up it, and then it becomes essentially like a pipe slider at the top. They have to slide along and hop over a couple of pegs, and then around the middle part, as they're up on this big obstacle, they have to let go of the bar and grab 2 hanging holds. I forget what kind of holds they'd be. 2 hanging climbing holds. And
sure.
What are they called? What are those things like?
They're like, they're commonplace holds. They've got
like vertical cylinders. Like they're like long.
Yeah, vertical cylinders. Sure. And they got those. They got like the softball hold things, things like that. Just a bunch of grips.
Yeah, but the tricky part is that transition, right? When they drop down, they have to quickly catch these things as their momentum's carrying them downwards. Like it really looked tough.
Yeah, they're basically nunchucks that you got to grab.
Nunchucks. Thank you. That was all I was looking for. Thank you. It was driving me
I thought you were
crazy.
talking about like the later ones.
No, I meant the nunchucks. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So yeah, once they got across past those holds, they went to a pipe slider that slid over to the end, and they had to try to transition off of it, which if you've ever seen someone trying to transition off a pipe slider, it's not so easy sometimes. As you can tell, this is kind of a long course. So then they had a rolling log that they had to balance on, basically like I think they used to call it balance tank type deal.
I hate that obstacle. Like those obstacles always get me out. Like they're just the worst.
From there, they did pegboard, big pegboard, but the pegboard actually led into a cliffhanger, which I really liked. I don't know why I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And it was very simple. Like when you saw the design, it's not super difficult or anything like that. I'm surprised we don't see more of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't on the show, like Jim's take note, that's a really effective way to mix and match the obstacles. Then we had some wing nuts, and finally into Mount Hilby, which is basically just a warped wall.
It's a warped wall. I think you might be onto something with the whole sponsor thing, because there's no reason these things should be named these.
Yeah, the Jones River thing in Garrison, I'm not so sure. But yeah, overall, solid course, difficult course, tests a wide range of abilities. I don't think I even got everything. There was definitely some more balance obstacles and stuff in there than we would normally see, which I appreciate. I think balance is an underutilized, under-tested skill on ANW.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with not too many balance obstacles in my personal life, but yeah, this had a really good, solid mix of different obstacles.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the highlights here. We're not going to do a run-by-run because that would actually be longer than the episode itself we're covering, which is a little weird to do.
Lord knows we've done that before.
Yeah, I think, and we'll probably do it again here now. Actually, you know what? I'll read off their names and where they fell if it's something we're not going to talk about bigger. First competitor was Corey Goodman, who fell off the beams, showing how difficult it can be right at the beginning of the course. But after him was Adam Rayl. Like, wow, big name star to just drop in the middle of the episode. We're used to them hyping them and putting them at the end, so it was kind of funny to have him right there.
Yeah, dude is only 175 pounds. I mean, that was shocking to me because Adam Rayl is a walking tank of a man. Like, he is built. But, I mean, very low body fat it must be. I mean, you see him with a shirt off, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, it's Adam Rayl. He really made it look like it was, I wouldn't say like it's nothing, but he really did well on this course. And I don't know, like going into this, it looked like a difficult course, but it didn't look impossible or anything. But man, a lot of people struggled, and Adam Rayl was the one that really stood like head and above the rest in terms of like running this thing.
Not the rest, but most.
Well, most, yeah.
Yeah. He almost fell off the beams too. Right at the beginning, I was shocked. Like I gasped a little bit when I saw it because I thought he actually was out right away. But he did manage to beat the whole course. Gave us a good preview of the whole thing, and set a high bar for everyone coming after.
Yeah, he looked very strong and solid. He seemed to have didn't rush too hard. Like he flies through the obstacles, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I remember in a lot of his competitions, it's really when he gets off of an obstacle, he tends to like really fly to the next one. That's kind of like his whole strength. I could be wrong in that, but I feel like that was what the thing that separates him from others. In this course, though, he wasn't like going super fast from one to the other. I think it wasn't like the time wasn't as important to him.
I think it was. It was just a long, difficult course. He was pretty winded. Like in the interview afterwards, he really looked like it took a lot out of him to get it done that fast.
Yeah, so maybe he was just pacing himself well.
Yeah, I think so. After him was Brooke Miller, who dismounted early on the rolling log and got DQ'd. That really sucked. So he was going along. He had no problems with the course, and he was, just kind of rolling along on the log. He was, on his feet, and then jumped off of it just a hair too early. It had to make it past a taped mark, and he got DQ'd.
I don't think anybody knows who these people are.
It's okay. If you don't know who they are, I still want to give them a shout out here. Nobody's going to know anybody else that we're going to talk about here, probably.
Okay. Cool.
Billy Smith was next. He's an older competitor who slipped off trying to do the transfer on Jones River that I described earlier, dropping down to the nunchucks, unfortunately.
Yeah. Dude kind of reminded me of like a Spartan racer, like an older guy, super fit, tried his best.
After him, Martin O'Neill from Barbados. So I was really interested to see how, hometown guy was going to do.
This guy did awesome, right?
No, unfortunately, this guy, his hands touched behind the line on his dismount of the monkey bars. He just, when he landed,
no.
they came back and put him out.
Okay, this wasn't the one. There's somebody that got like DQ'd and was like awesome.
I think it's it might have been him. He was pretty solid, but after him was Jamar Williams, who was only training for 3 months before being here. Given that, he is actually doing really well. He stumbled on the balance logs, but caught himself. He fell forward. I appreciated that they could catch themselves on those logs, right? Like you didn't have to stand up the whole time. So that was good. And a little unusual because usually you see if you touch it with your hands kind of out on balance obstacles.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd like to see that in a lot more competitions in America. I mean, I know they got to amp up the difficulty, but sometimes these rules are like a little obnoxious. It's like, all right, come on.
Yeah, I don't like rules for the sake of rules, as I've said before, and this course didn't seem to have any of those. Other than things like, I get it, if they didn't pass the tape, if they didn't go far enough, that kind of makes sense, but I kind of would even like to see that. If you can get to the landing pad, who cares where you jump off?
I mean, I agree with that, too.
So even though he caught himself there, he had a really bad dismount at the end of the monkey bars and DQ'd himself there.
Yeah, a lot of people were having trouble with that dismount, which is shocking because it really, honestly, half the competitors I feel like are getting taken out just by from some dismounts from obstacles, and they didn't seem that difficult, honestly. But you just never know from the visual aspect and actually being on there.
Yeah, I don't get it from the monkey bars. I get it from the pipe slider. That's kind of most of the difficulty of the pipe slider. But on the monkey bars, that seems like should be an easy one.
I don't know, man.
After him, we had Chad Ruth, an NNL veteran, looking really strong on the course.
Yeah, this guy looked amazing.
But unfortunately, he fell backwards on the dismount of the pipe slider. So he came off. He was struggling with the dismount, and when he came down, he fell backwards and DQ'd. After him, we had Kevin Cadogan, who fell in the transition to the holds on the Jones River 2.0, so down to those nunchucks, which is the same obstacle that took him out the year before. But next up, this is the guy, Mike Revert.
We've seen him on the show, right?
I don't know. They didn't mention that he was on the show. I believe they said he was on NNL and on the Australian equivalent of NNL, whatever it was called, NLC or something like that.
Yeah, he was definitely on NNL. I remember they talking about him, but this guy, wow.
Yeah, when you go into a course and crush Adam Rayl's time, you're doing good. He made the whole thing look easy. Absolutely destroyed the course. Mike Revert did I don't even the words, just a jaw-droppingly good run.
Yeah, and he didn't have many weaknesses from what we saw. He had really good balance, good grip strength, actually phenomenal grip strength, very poised on the course. Now, it could be that he knows his course well, or, you never know. It very much depends on the obstacles. But from what I saw, this guy has a very good balance of strengths when it comes to all the minutia that comes with Ninja Warrior. And I don't know. I kind of feel like we might need to search him up a little bit more at NNL or UNX or wherever he's competing at. I kind of want to see more of this guy and see what he's done.
Yeah, for sure. If you've heard of Mike Revert and if you have any videos we should check out, or you can educate us on the fact that he, went deep in season 6 and we forgot about him or something, just let us know. But yeah, after him, we had Christopher Carrington from Barbados as well, who fell off the balance logs. Unfortunately, not a great showing for the local competitors. And
it was, sorry to cut you off, but really the story of this episode is something that we've been seeing a whole lot more in more recent competitions just around the world, which is there's the local competitors and competitions, similar and a la to ANW seasons 1 through 3, where they're doing their best, but they don't train this stuff. And, the course might be a little difficult. And then there are the competitors that train, not year round, but just train a lot and know this stuff and kind of crush it. And the dichotomy between the skill set is just profound. And I don't know, I'm of two minds of it, you know? It's all fair, and it's, you know, the big stars and names really bring in the audience. I mean, we probably wouldn't be watching this if there wasn't like, hey, there's Adam Rayl and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it's not necessarily fair to compare Adam Rayl to, you know, this Joe Schmo that it's their first time on a course like this.
But I think that's kind of the appeal of Ninja in general, right? Everyone takes the course. Everyone does their best. If that guy that fell on Jones River 2.0, if he made it just a little further, we'd celebrate it. We'd say, hey, look, he got further than he did last year. He's able to take down most of the course.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But I think that's not necessarily a detraction from the show, right? Like, I don't think you need to beat the course to be entertaining or to win for your own personal victories.
That's fair.
For example, so next up actually is a good example. Shavante Bradshaw was the next took the course. It was her first time here, and she looked really, really solid. She had some struggle in the monkey bars, but did a really good job of correcting because she didn't have the wingspan to really do it, you know, monkey style one after another. She had to make some bigger laches. She did a great job. Ended up falling on the spider wall. She didn't get a good bounce off the trampoline, but yeah, like I thought she did great.
Yeah, she was really fun. She was one of my favorite runs of the entire night, and yeah, I don't know what much to say because it was a quick run, but from what I saw the whole time, it was clear she was new to ANW, but that wasn't going to stop her. And she got through just by athletic sheer willpower, and it was actually quite endearing to watch.
Yeah, we see that sometimes with, you know, gymnasts, and they have a lot of transferable skills, and you just see, you know, a lot of promise there, and you want to see them come back with some focused ninja training for a while and see what they can do.
ANW Junior, come soon, because
that's all right. Next week,
you know, that just brings me to that.
It does. So next week we will take a look at NNL and UNX. And I don't know, is UNAA going? It must be, right? We'll check out all
I mean, who knows? Because they never show. I mean, if it is, we can't cover it.
Right. We'll check out what we can.
Oh, this person did well. Okay, cool. There's no video of it.
Yeah, if we have a top 10, it's a little hard to do a whole episode about it. So we need some video, which UNX now is fantastic for providing. So we'll have to check that out again. But yeah, we'll get through the next episode. And like you said, we'll do our year-end recap leading us into the new season. Into the new year.
Sasuke! Heck yeah, man.
Sasuke? What is Sasuke? What is that thing again?
Oh, it's the greatest thing ever. Oh, I can't wait. And guess what? I'm going to be in Japan, y'all, at the beginning of the year. So you're not going to hear our Sasuke coverage until maybe mid-January, but it will be coming.
All right. So before we wrap it up, Bijan, do we have any 5-star reviews?
Well, yes, my man, we do. From Mimitron, actually from Ireland. Oh my gosh, we've got a listener from Ireland. How's it going, my man? Yeah, so it says, hi, Rich and Bijan. I love your podcast, especially in the off-season when there isn't much ninja on, and I'm Irish, so we don't have NBC, so I can only watch single runs and listen to the podcast. That is terrible, my man. Ugh, get a VPN. Maybe that'll help you out. I was also wondering if you guys would consider covering a show called Ireland's Fittest Family on RTE. In the show, families... Oh, here we go. I was like, in the show, families are coached by Irish sports stars and compete against one another on Tough Mudder / Spartan style courses. This sounds actually really interesting, Rich. From how I'm gathering it, it kind of sounds like Biggest Loser meets, I don't know, Spartan Ultimate Team Challenge. But yo,
yeah,
if there's Tough Mudder courses, yo, that's some serious stuff. But guess what? That's for another day. Mimitron, guess what you are? You are the 5-star review of the week. Thank you, my man. Ding! I don't have my bell, so I apologize. But seriously, sounds dope. And hey, if I can't cover it, you know, Rich will be more than happy to cover it in my stead while I'm in Japan. Yeah, so enjoy, Rich.
I am game. If I can find it, we'll do what we can. If you know where I can find it, feel free to send me a link. we'll see what we can do. Thank you so much for.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I was just about to say, get ready, y'all, because I don't think you guys are ready for the craziness that's going to be our New Year's special this week. I had one heck of a semester at school, and I am ready to get lit. Children, don't listen to that episode.
Yes, drink responsibly. And if you'd like to reach out to us to complain about us, corrupting the youth, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Find me at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151. Look forward to me being back in the office with better sound next week.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening, and have happy holidays.
Happy holidays, y'all.